Hello there and welcome to Iron Port. It is proudly brought to you by West Blue Consulting, Ghana Oil Company Limited and Ghana Community Network Services, as well as the Ghana Revenue Authority, particularly the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. And we thank Mr. Emmanuel Kofi Nti, the Commissioner General, as well as Mr. Isaac CRENTSIL, the Commissioner of Customs, for being part of Iron Port and seeing the need to be part to educate the entire general public about the goings-on within the port and maritime industry. Folks, look behind me. Now that signboard there says Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority together with the Ghana Integrity Initiative is working together to stamp out corruption at Ghana's ports and borders. But there is one thing that we have spoken against on this platform a lot of times, and that's the fact that we've gone paperless since 2017 September. That means that, you know, papers are not really flying in the port. But there is a particular bill on fee on the bill that's submitted to importers. It's called miscellaneous. That they are saying that they use it for making photocopies and also bribing people. That's what the people are saying, that the agents are saying that you need that miscellaneous to bribe some officers and also to make photocopies. We are saying that this is not proper if you want to facilitate trade. So we engage the Commissioner of Customs on this particular subject. He says that he's going to scrap miscellaneous on the bill. So if you're an importer and you see miscellaneous on the bill that's submitted to you by an agent, that is not proper, according to the Commissioner. He's going to issue a directive to that pretty shortly. In the meantime, you're going to hear from him as well. Again, the Commissioner says that this year, 2019, he's not going to, or his outfit is not going to bring out any controversial policy. Yet, we are hearing that the first quarter of 2019, one first port rule is coming up. What is it about? And is that not going to be controversial? All of that, the Commissioner will be answering to that. The Commissioner also says that Customs is coming hard on DEMURRAGE. They are going to make sure that importers do not suffer from DEMURRAGE charges and all of that. These are big plans by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and I engage the Commissioner as a CRENTSIL on that.
But the first port rule, it's coming.
No, the first port rule is something that is going to help our destination countries. In fact, it's the best for them. I've gone to West Africa.
For the destination countries.
That is,
but is it the best for us?
It's also the best for us.
For
because
Ghana?
Yes,
how?
Because we are losing much revenue and distorting the trade statistics. Goods destined for maybe Burkina Faso, example, will find its way into our market. So those who go to the normal route and pay the creditors and going to compete with those people, I mean, they are going to lose.
Disturbing
so it means they are not going to sell quick.
Yeah.
So that the turnaround will be lower.
Because these ones, they swerved, they dodged.
Don't pay anything. So of course,
their prices will be cheaper. But that's very, and we all accept that it's a very disturbing phenomenon.
So those were destination countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, sometimes Togo, are interested also in their goods. And of course, their revenue.
Yeah.
So if the good doesn't go, they suffer.
Yeah.
If they don't get revenue, of course, they cannot develop. So they are even interested in these things. We have had several meetings with them.
Yeah,
so it's very good that we have it. East Africa, Kenya, and Rwanda and other Tanzania, they are all in this single custom territory. Another name for it is single custom territory.
A single customs territory. That is similar to the first port rule.
Yes. So what is happening is that the destination countries, we will send them our e-manifest. All the transit manifests will be sent to them. So their transitors or their importers would then contact them. Then they will do the assessment, like how we do it here. They will do the assessment and pay.
Without seeing their cargo?
No, they say, of course, the document. The same we are doing it at pre-Araba. You do the assessment before you go and see the cargo. So they will do the assessment and pay over there. And pay over there. In Burkina Faso,
they won't pay in Ghana.
No, they won't pay it in Ghana. Okay. They will pay in Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, depending on wherever it is. And then they will signal us through a network. For now, you're going to use EcoBank network system. When
that this person has already paid. So his
yes. So they're also going to place their officers at Tema.
What would they be doing then?
No, they are going to receive the information and then also help our own customs officers and then the Ghanaian freight forwarders and continue the other documentation work on it. And then we track it and sometimes escort it to them. Then they will then finally do the examination with their statutory or regulatory bodies, maybe their Food and Drugs Authority, their standard, and any other regulatory bodies that will help them. So then they will do the final one in their country. So if there's short collection, no. They will just side the containers and then escort it. Or
wouldn't that be too much for your men?
No, nothing are changing. Nothing is going to change. It's just that they will side the product and then escort it or track it or drive it to their country.
Who
then
will
they do
escort it? Are we
if there's a high duty, we have to, even though duty have been paid, sometimes to be very sure, we will escort some of them to them so that they continue the process.
Would the GCNet tracking device still be on the
even if there's GCNet tracking device on it, sometimes the high duty weight, the 35 band, will escort some of the products.
But if they have paid, if we have that evidence that they have paid,
we don't want to take that. We don't want to take that chance. Some are bent on to bring the goods into our country.
In addition to having the first port rule, that is having them do all the payment and everything before the cargo.
Because Kenya, the same thing. They
still track.
They still track. I mean, somebody doesn't care, pay duty over there and come and say bring the goods into our system here. He doesn't care.
Why would
I mean, you ask yourself, why should
their duties far cheaper than ours?
It's not.
So what would be the advantage?
It's me and you that we have to find out why. So in order to avoid that, we will pay the duty over there, and then we ensure that we track it for you.
The situations we have in Ghana? Now in Ghana we have a lot of UCLs.
Yes.
People import, they don't pay their monies on time, and so they are not able to take their cargo out of the port. Assume that our transit neighbors also become very lackadaisical and not paying on time. Where do we leave our UCLs, for instance?
The way out is that whatever manifests, that we give it to them. There are two things: either you pay or you warehouse.
You pay or you do what?
You pay the goods.
Okay.
Or you use suspend regimes. Every customer administration has all this mechanism. So either you suspend regimes. So whatever happens, they must instruct us. The customer administration over there must instruct us that all these containers must come to them. So we ensure that it goes to them.
Once
the goods have been manifested to them,
yes,
it is their right.
Yes.
So if the people are paid or have been warehoused, they will tell us what, bring them manifested to what, this destination country. So Ghana, we don't have any problem. It's because the goods are not for us.
Yes, but
so they will tell us to bring it to them.
Commissioner, let's take Ghana. I mean, we have a lot of cars that people bring in. After 60 days, they don't take the cars off, and sometimes we auction them.
Yeah.
In the case of our transit neighbors, assume that they bring container, and I realize that my duty I can't pay in Burkina, and so I'm slowing down. I'm not doing anything with my cargo. What happens to that?
No, but in the same process, assuming like what you are saying, they are transiting.
Yes.
The goods go there. So the same process.
No,
once we send the manifest to them, and we know their laws, the number of days that we expect to have their goods. So they will instruct us. Okay. So now not going to, as we are speaking, somebody is there. We are not going to depend on them to tell us that these goods they want to bring them. So every manifest,
whether it's been paid
or not. Yes, they are interested in the goods. They are not interested in after all, it's the goods that will develop the economy. They are not interested in any other thing. So they make sure that the goods reach them.
Whether duty has been paid on it.
Yes, whether duty has been paid on it or not. So it's the same thing. Because if the translator doesn't have money and it's transit there, then he's going to pay duty.
And have you been able to structure an arrangement on that say after 5 days, if we don't hear this, bring the goods? Have you had that?
No, a lot have gone through.
Structure with your counterparts in Burkina, Mali, and Nigeria?
Yes, a lot. We started somewhere, I think July or so. I have been talking to them.
Because we
should have started it in this January. But because the manifest was not ready, that's why we are looking at it by end of February.
One of the fears is that if we make the process too cumbersome for these transit countries, and I know that you have been to those countries trying to convince them to use our port, we will discourage them from using our port.
Rather to be the opposite.
The other way around. You think so?
Because we visited Burkina Faso, Mali.
Yes.
And had engagement, interaction with their stakeholders. The government is very happy because now they are going to see, one, their goods, and of course get their revenue. They also use revenue to develop. The situation is where they divert the goods, they are not getting the goods, people steal their goods, they are not getting the goods, they are not getting revenue. So they are not happy. Then even they traded themselves. Some of them find it difficult because they don't get their goods. The goods don't reach them. Some are diverted at their brand side. So now they are going to see their goods pay for it, and then ensure that economic development also take place over there. So it's going to help everybody. We want to Togo has port, but a lot of their goods also come to our Tema port. I ask why.
Maybe
yes. So if they prefer, why do you think the first port rule will stop it?
That's what we're hoping it won't stop.
It will not.
The first port rule will be the major policy that you will roll out this year.
That will be the major policy we will roll out.
Maybe that would be it.
Yes, for now, I don't think.
Because the concerns of the freight forwarders.
Except that,
You always throw in policies.
This year, this year, like I said, we don't want any disturbances within the trading front at all. So anything that will bring disturbances, we will have to seek the government to nip it in the bud.
Will you also see the government to reduce some of the taxes this year?
Well, they have the plans.
If you look around, what would you say, if you had your way, would be the tax that you can bring down, or would be some of the cost element that you can take out from import clearance chain that will bring relief to the public?
First, the CET is something
but that's
of
ECOWAS. So it will be difficult for you
yes,
to alter. Yes,
it is. But
the one within our power as a country.
The one within our power as a country is first you have to look at some of the costs.
Like which one can you tell that, in fact, this one you think that if we just bring it down?
We are writing a paper on that, to looking at the cost. But first, you have to even to look at even the demurrages.
From the shipping lines?
From the shipping lines.
You think they are huge?
They are huge. To no fault of sometimes the importers or traders. Yeah. So we are putting mechanism in place. It's not I don't want to regulate. Some may even come and they have about 70 to 80% of the duty. But because of one or two challenges, they find themselves hovering around, and meanwhile, demurrages were kicking in and moving up. Such people, we can talk to them. They pay the 80% and take their goods. So they avoid the demurrage that we have accrued, going around looking for the 20% to add up. The demurrage is one of the key elements. Yeah. So we are going to work on and reduce. Last year, demurrage alone was more than about 5 billion.
Yes. And
it's something that we are going to work on it. But we are going to ensure it's something that we will start with the trading. We are meeting the leaders very soon. We will tell them how best to talk about, even if your duties are not up to. We will have an agreement with you. We will shadow it. So you take your goods and then we test you. You sign all the necessary bond that we can get you. And then we test you. So that at least you don't go and pay that money to the shipping line. Yeah. Because so we are going to work on the demurrage.
The demurrage charges of the shipping lines themselves.
Yeah, well,
one shipping line charging maybe $40, another one is charging $80, another one is charging $70. Who is regulating all of these things? Because all of that is part of the reasons why people complain.
We are having a discussion with the Ghana Shippers Authority. Okay. Of course, you know this. I think USAID have. Research on it.
Yeah, the cost of doing business.
So we are also going to look at all these things and sit down with them. What we can control probably is the demurrage. And for the
you think the shipping line charges you can?
Well, no, but the demurrage we can. It's all part of inefficiency that have resulted in somebody going to pay money. Sometimes some people pay us more than 200,000.
And the inefficiencies sometimes are the fault of the agencies in the port.
Yes, so we are going to ensure that once the person pays his duty, and because of they can take the goods, and then whatever is left, we address it.
The freight forwarders charge this miscellaneous. It's an additional cost that also comes to the importer. And the miscellaneous, according to what we have asked them that it is supposed to be used for making photocopies and paying people, officers, and all of that. Do you think that we still need these miscellaneous?
Since we introduced paperless, I'm even surprised that
miscellaneous is
still there.
Then it has been there.
Yes, because you see,
it's been there
sometimes our cherished traders, I don't know, because of want of time, or we'll see there somebody will come. Okay, this container, give me this. Without even looking at the customs assessment. But thank God now we have alert in the system that once they finish your declaration, it's alerted you to know how much duty you have to pay. And all this is reducing because there is no paperwork for you to do photocopy. And the essence of even moving the compliance to Accra was to do this human interaction. The people let
so
them
there is no officer.
So I don't know why they were it, but it's an old thing. When you are changing, it becomes yes.
So 1 year after paperless, wouldn't you send out a declaration that listen, no freight forwarder should give you an invoice that should contain a miscellaneous, because they say the miscellaneous comes to your offices.
No.
They say
it must inform them. No, it's a good idea. We'll issue a statement on that.
Yes.
We'll issue a statement
in that way,
yes, because with the introduction of paperless, the whole idea was what broke the interaction between, or the interview between customs and then the public.
How soon do we expect this? Because the year has begun.
No. You see, we want to start early. You don't want to go into that difficulty we had in 20. So we realize that we are starting everything in January, and then sit back and look at where we have to twin this. So we'll meet my management and then we issue a statement about the miscellaneous. But we will call the freight forwarders very soon. Meet me by witness, we will call them for a meeting and then we issue a statement on that.
Okay, so yes. You have talked about demurrage on the part of the shipping lines. We've talked about miscellaneous on the part of the freight forwarders.
Yes.
What about some of the state agencies? Now, we heard not too long ago, Ghana Standards Authority is charging some 300 cedis for something, I don't know. What about the state agencies? Isn't there something we can reduce from them to bring down the cost of
you see, normally they all come to an act. What is very important is for us to regulate it by way of management of it, like the Ghana Standard Authority. The payment will be done overseas, not at the port here.
But it's the same importers who are making the payment, whether it's being done outside or in Ghana.
No, I remember I had an engagement with their chief executive.
Okay.
Yeah, that we are trying to. They are going to go. They are going to go through. It's still a cost, but it's also
being paid
it's also going to help them. As I just said, the importers.
How?
In terms of quality. No. In terms of quality, so that when your product comes, they don't look at it. In terms of quality or standard-wise, Ghana, yes. So some of these payments are by way of statutory, but those that we have control will ensure that it comes down. That this is what we are going to do. So like with the miscellaneous, the demurrages that we can control. Because some pay so much.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we are also issue statement on rent, warehousing rent and all these things. We have issued statements so that they know that, look, if you as a trader will sit down for a goods to go into rent so much, then it is your own inefficiency. Yeah. That's why you cannot complain to us, because you are putting all this out there and educate them. So we are going to educate them more. This year, my job is to do more of education. In fact, more of education. Yeah. So this program is also one of the means that to do more of education.
We're always there for you.
Yes, so that they appreciate that. Look, if you don't hurry up, you end cost. Yeah. Your cost comes against you. Yeah. So these are some of the things you have to inform them.
What about the issue of auctioning and allocation of vehicles and UCLs? Now, the complaint by the general public all the time has been, I bring my goods. You say if I'm not able to pay 60 days, then you give it to somebody at a very cheaper price. Yeah. Sometimes they will come and beg you, and commissioner says no, the thing must still go to auction. What are you doing as far as this system is concerned? Because a lot of people come crying all the time.
In principle, I'm against it, but that is my principle.
So
I'm against
it.
So, but like I said,
somebody, a young man who works with Newmont, for instance, had this Corolla being brought into. This is what he has worked all his life for.
And it's gone.
Now it's gone.
I've seen so many of them who brought their cars hoping to get it, and then before they say Jack.
Very cruel to the importer.
Yes, and that's where we are going to introduce that system. I mentioned that. Look, if you can even pay 90%, we'll let you go, and then but before you go, you sign a bond. You come into a reschedule with us. After we are able to secure the 90%, which sometimes will be even more than the if we have taken the car to auction.
Okay.
So we are going to do that to minimize so many goods or cars or vehicles that come into the UCL. Then we are also going to look at the situation of automating, so they become transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are going to use that
mechanism. What? The auction process?
The auction process. Because the way they do it over, the way they do over, yes. It's not that. So we are also looking at that. We are also looking at that situation. And then, of course, we also have to also collaborate with other stakeholders within the ocean industry so that we peace prevail.
2019, what do you hope to see? By the time we sit here, 2020 January, what would you expect us to be talking about?
That every month we'll be exceeding our target.
I see.
That is my place.
More money.
More money every month.
The way Commissioner, the more money, the more money. If the more money means we're paying more.
No. All these measures that we are putting, see, the whole idea is to encourage them to bring in more cargoes. In fact, the whole idea for me this year, whatever that I can do to encourage people to bring in more cargoes is what I have to look at.
Okay.
And when the cargoes come, then we get our money will come. The traders will also be happy.
But you say reduction in tax, reduction in tax, reduction in tax.
No, what we are saying is that we are doing everything possible to bring down some of the costs.
The area of forgery of documents, the area of undervaluation, under declaration, over invoicing on all of that. How have you dealt with that?
Oh yes, this year I even started. Look, if you found out that you have willfully under declare, we are going to take our right money and prosecute you.
I see.
We are waiting for the special prosecutor to kick in, and then we'll see what happens. A lot of them will go through that channel.
I see.
Yes.
But why are you waiting for the special prosecutor? This is something you have the prosecutor.
No, we are yet to. We may have it, but we are yet to kickstart that thing. But with the special prosecutor, you may be interested. And it's a deterrent. What we are doing is a deterrent. Yeah. Tax issues are more of deterrent. That if you do these things, this is the punishment that is await you. So nobody will go into that front.
So what sort of
we started, we even ban some people not to have anything with customs or even venture the port area. Yes. Yeah. So that's going for. That's what we are going to do.
Because
we started with revocation.
Some of the punishment are not deterrent.
We started with revocation. Now we are going with pictures. We will do more of the pictures this year. When you see you doing anything that will injure the Custom Act, we'll take your picture and publish. We'll ban you. Oh, yes. And then, not only that, all those people who are police, some are heading towards court.
Are you going to have stiffer punishment this year?
Very well. Very hard.
I've started goods from warehousing, and then about 5 trucks or so were...
Not January 2019.
No, last year.
2019, if you venture...
haven't seen anything.
No, a lot of the companies have had their licenses revoked.
That's revoking license?
Yes.
That's
no, but meanwhile, when you do that, investigation is also going on.
Set up another company.
Don't worry.
Continue their business.
Prosecution, you hear from GRA. A lot of them will go through the prosecutorial channel. A lot. It's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot will happen.
What about automation system? The hope was that with paperless, even though customs, most of your systems are well automated. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, their systems are well automated. Shippers, the same thing. But how you integrate them from the Port Authority to Customs, and from Customs to Port Authority and to the other agencies, how are you well connected? Because people were still using papers in 2018. How do you integrate?
Well, we started with the GPH.
Have you started integrating?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know, and they are watching now.
No, we have that collaboration with the shipping line. That's the paperless we talk about. That's the essence of the paperless.
Yes.
That all these systems are integrated.
Yes. Okay. Finally, what would you say to the trading public and also the agencies that you work with, particularly freight forwarders and co, those you think that they gave you a hell of time last year?
Finally, what I will tell them is that they are all part of us in the industry to ensure that government get the necessary revenue to develop this country. And therefore, it's not something about cat and mouse game, but that they are going to help us to achieve that purpose. And with our cherished traders, this year we promise them that we don't want to create any disturbances. Nothing. And therefore, we have to move forward by way of education, talking to them always. So we find ourselves within their confines at the market to talk to them, so that they will be happy to bring in their cargoes, so that we can get the necessary revenue.
So Customs seem to have a lot of plans in this year 2019, as you may have heard from the Commissioner himself, Mr. Isaac CRENTSIL there. But the area of confiscation of vehicles, for instance, people are not happy. The importers say that, you bring your vehicle, you are not able to pay 60 days. Instead of you being given the chance to pay for it, then they dash it to somebody at a very cheaper price. That gentleman from Newmont, he's also called Sammy, brought in a nice Corolla for his parents, and it's been seized and given to somebody else. He's not happy. The gentleman says customs must do something about it, but customs says the whole scenario of confiscation and auctioning and allocating it to people, they are going to automate that process, as you may have heard from the commissioner. We hope a lot of things are done to this effect. Eye on Port returns after the break.
Hello?
Good morning, this is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less. Bye.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how? Hey.
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here, in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth, is in our hands.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Welcome back from the break. Still watching Eye on Port. Next up, news and activities around the port industry.
Lloyd's List is reporting that London craft Letitia 5 was attacked by pirates early in the morning February 3 in Gulf of Guinea southwest of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, being en route from Cotonou, Benin to One, Port Harcourt. According to Lloyd's report, pirates boarded the ship and 3 crew were kidnapped. Letitia 5 reached Port of Bonny Harcourt area in the afternoon February 4. London craft Letitia 5 is a new ship built in Malaysia, especially for Western African trade. Dubai-based container port operator DP World handled 71.4 million TEUs across its global portfolio of container terminals in the full year of 2018, with gross container volumes growing by 1.9% year-on-year on a reported basis and 2.9% on a like-for-like basis. The company's Asia Pacific and Indian subcontinent terminals saw a container throughput of 32.9 million TEUs last year, a rise of 3.2% year-on-year on a like-for-like basis. Italian shipbuilder Fincantieri delivered the cruise ship Viking Jupiter to cruise line Viking from its Ancona shipyard on February 7. Viking Jupiter, which can accommodate 930 passengers, is a set of overall 16 units Fincantieri is set to deliver to Viking. With a gross tonnage of about 47,800 tons, the vessel is a part of the small cruise ship segment.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Gold Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 Lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goil. Good energy.
Schedules of vessels that are sitting in the port, those at anchorage, also those expected to come in this week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate next. So lots of comments on the commissioner and the interviews we've had with commissioner. One coming from Sami, the Newmont man, whose car has been confiscated and allocated to an entirely different person who never suffered for that car. Listen.
Hello, Commissioner. My name is Samuel and work with Newmont Ghana. I imported a Toyota Corolla into the country. Initially, I wasn't able to raise the duty, but finally when I did, I was told my car has been seized just a day or two after the 60 days deadline. Ever since, I have made several efforts to get my car, but has been unsuccessful. I have just been told that my car has now been allocated to one Edward Bokwe on the 10th of January 2019. Please, Commissioner, this car means so much to me and my family. I need it back. I have the money now to pay for the duty. Please help.
So we continue to take your comments and engage you to bring in any concern that you have when you deal with the port industry. We will be glad to share them with the rest of the world and also hope to get you some results as far as our small corner is concerned. Thank you for watching the program. Also, thanks to the entire team. See you next week. Thanks a lot to the executive producers.